The Vietnam War began with fear, not Vietnam itself. After World War II, the United States emerged as a global superpower determined to stop the spread of communism. When French colonial rule collapsed in Vietnam in 1954, the country was divided into Communist North Vietnam and anti-Communist South Vietnam. American leaders believed that if Vietnam fell, other nations in Asia would soon follow. This belief, called the domino theory, pushed the US to intervene. What began as political support and military advisors slowly turned into a commitment America could no longer escape. Vietnam's division was meant to be temporary. Elections were planned to reunify the country, but they never happened. In the north, Ho Chi Minh led a disciplined communist government with strong popular support. In the south, political instability, corruption, and weak leadership created resentment among civilians. Guerrilla fighters known as the Viet Cong emerged, blending into villages and fighting from the shadows. The war was no longer just political, it became personal, dividing families, communities, and an entire nation. In 1964, the United States claimed its naval ships were attacked in the Gulf of Tonkin. Congress responded by giving President Lyndon Johnson broad powers to use military force. This decision changed history. Within a few years, American troop levels rose to over 500,000 soldiers. What was promised as limited involvement became a full-scale war. Young Americans were drafted and sent to fight thousands of miles from home, often without understanding why. Vietnam was not a traditional battlefield. The enemy rarely wore uniforms. The Viet Cong used tunnels, jungle cover, booby traps, and ambushes. Villages that appeared peaceful by day could become battle zones by night. American firepower was unmatched, but technology meant little in dense jungle terrain. Soldiers struggled to tell civilians from fighters. Every step carried fear. Victory was measured in body counts, not territory, creating a war without clear progress. For the first time, Americans watched war unfold nightly on television. Graphic footage showed dead soldiers, burning villages, and grieving civilians. As casualties rose, trust in government collapsed. College campuses erupted in protest. Draft resistance grew. Veterans returned home angry, traumatized, and often rejected. Vietnam became more than a foreign war. It became a crisis inside American society, tearing apart families, politics, and national identity. In 1968, North Vietnam launched the Tet Offensive, attacking dozens of cities simultaneously. Militarily, US and South Vietnamese forces repelled the attacks. But psychologically, Tet was devastating. Americans had been told victory was near. Tet proved otherwise. The enemy was still strong, organized, and determined. Public confidence shattered. After Tet, winning the war became politically impossible, even if military success was claimed. The United States misunderstood the nature of the conflict. For North Vietnam, the war was about national independence. For America, it was about ideology. Heavy bombing failed to break enemy resolve. Corruption weakened South Vietnam's government. American troops won most battles but failed to secure long-term control. Without popular support from the Vietnamese people, military superiority could not deliver victory. The human cost of Vietnam was enormous. More than 58,000 American soldiers were killed, and over 300,000 were wounded. Vietnam lost millions of soldiers and civilians. The US spent over $160 billion, draining resources and trust. Chemical weapons like Agent Orange left lasting health effects still felt today. The war scarred both nations physically, mentally, and morally. By the early 1970s, the US sought a way out. President Nixon introduced Vietnamization, shifting combat responsibility to South Vietnamese forces while withdrawing American troops. In 1973, US combat forces left. 2 years later, North Vietnamese tanks rolled into Saigon. South Vietnam collapsed almost instantly. America's longest war ended not with victory, but with evacuation and defeat. The Vietnam War changed America forever. It shattered public trust in government and reshaped military strategy. Future wars would be questioned more deeply. For Vietnam, reunification came at devastating cost. For the world, Vietnam became a warning. Power alone cannot win wars. Without understanding people, culture, and purpose, even the strongest nation can lose.